All right, guys. So the recording has started. Yeah, tell me, what is the first doubt anyone wants to discuss?
Sir, about the factual.
Sujit, I'm unable to hear you.
How to handle.
Your signal is weak. I could not understand. Could you repeat, please? Sujit? I think, yes, he doesn't have signal, got disconnected. Yes, anyone else? Samina, you want to ask something specific?
Sir, I wanted to ask one question. Samina Miller. So, is it mandatory to see the questions from 1979?
Again, I think the signal is weak. Yeah, I could understand this much, that
Hello.
is it mandatory to see questions since 1979, right? Is this what
Yes.
is this what you want to ask? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. So see, the thing is, prelims is about three main things. The first is, of course, your knowledge, the books that you have, the standard books, the NCRTs, your basic reference books, and last 1 year current affairs. Okay, so you need to stick to those sources and do not proliferate, do not multiply those sources. Only then will your preparation be so-called under control. If you proliferate, multiply your sources, you will always be confused and your preparation will never get over, right? So out of three important things for clearing prelims, the first one I've told you is studying the basic books, right? About studying the basic books, NCRT, you have to start from class 6th itself, 6th to 12th, fine. The second important thing is previous year questions, right? Previous year questions are your window to UPSC's mind. Okay, it doesn't matter whether a question was asked in 1979 or it has been asked in 2022. If it is following some trend, if it is conceptual, for example, if it is logic based, for example, that question will remain relevant even today as it was relevant 40 years back, right? So what you need to do, however, is to see the kind of questions that are coming in the recent years. You can maybe, see after 2011, the kind of questions that UPSC has been asking, and you follow those variety of questions more intensely since 1979. You don't need to do all the questions, and that is why in any video you see of mine that I put, even in the repeat questions analysis PDF videos, I always stress this fact that you need to look at all the relevant questions. There are a lot of irrelevant questions, very factual data questions also will be there, personality based questions will be there, a lot of very specific current affairs related questions will be there. Those questions are not to be worried about, right? But even then, I have put all of these questions in the PYQ group just so that you have comprehensiveness. Okay, you know that what kind of questions have been asked and what kind of questions are not important. In fact, I will be tagging these questions as obsolete in the group, but they will still remain in the group just so that we have comprehensiveness, and for any reason if we need them tomorrow, we have them handy, right? But that tag will be clarifying that this question is actually obsolete, is not asked nowadays. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Recording in progress.
Aveen, I think your mic. Yeah. If two microphones are very close to each other, this kind of disturbance will happen. Okay. What is the next question? Yeah, just one more thing. I mean, I forgot to complete. Three things I told important for cracking prelims. The first was NCRT, second was the PYQs, right? And the third thing is elimination technique, logical thinking. Okay, all of these three are important. Of course, the degree can vary. Some people are more knowledge heavy in their preparation. Their style of preparation is more of knowledge heavy. So they can go for the first aspect, the study aspect more compared to the PYQs probably and the elimination. But it cannot be that anyone clears prelims through just one of these three, right? Or two of these three. It has to be all of these three combined. The ratio, of course, can differ from person to person. Yeah. Yes. What else?
So which test series we must follow? Anyone you suggest?
No,
And
I don't
because
suggest. Yeah.
we want to apply that elimination technique, so
Mhm.
even test series must be of some standard of that UPSC is considering nowadays. So basically,
See,
I'm not asking you, sir, to I'm not asking to promote or this,
hmm,
but
hmm,
I just want your reviews as you have explored many test series. So
hmm,
we don't have that much experience that
hmm,
we can go through each and every
hmm,
issue test series and
hmm.
then analyze which is of good standard, and we can apply various techniques and then do so. So I'm asking this.
Yes. See, Sujit, I told you the three important things that are required for cracking prelims, right? One is the basic book, second is the PYQ, and the third is elimination techniques, right? Test series do not find a mention in these three
Yes.
mandatory things. Just 1 second. Test series do not find a mention here because test series is not mandatory for clearing prelims. What is important is that you first get command over PYQs. Okay, that is your first step. That is in fact your protection against excessive divergence that happens in almost all test series from the UPSC standard. The kind of questions that UPSC asks, see, test series, they are under a compulsion of giving like 50-60 tests in a year, right? UPSC just has to give one test, only 100 questions in a year. So the kind of questions that UPSC can make versus the kind of questions which these test series have to make, there's a wide divergence. It is easy to make questions on facts, right? You just search something over the internet not given in your books, factual question, you make it sound like it is coming from questions similar to UPSC, and students get very impressed because they are happy about finding a test series whose questions they are unable to answer. This is surprising, right? And this is because our mind has been trained in that way. We cannot accept that UPSC is a simple exam. I'm not saying it's an easy exam, right? There's a difference between something being simple and something being easy. Whoever can turn their cameras on, please do so. It's a humble request. Keeps the session more engaging. I don't want to be staring at a blank wall. What was I saying? What was I saying? Someone
About test series.
about test series? Yes, I was saying at
UPSC creates only 100 question a year, and institute has a
100 questions.
compulsion of it.
Yes, 100. It doesn't have that compulsion of making extremely factual questions, right? And even the factual questions that UPSC will make, there will be some sort of link. Either it will be related to some PYQ or inspired from some PYQ or from your books. Very few questions will be there which are not given in your standard books and in your PYQs, right? And then it depends on the manner in which the options are given. In 2022 we had these new variety of options, right? Only one pair, only two pair, only three pair kind of questions. I think 7 or 8 questions were there. I've shared those questions in the free mentorship group also. I just wanted to discuss them. Somebody had asked
Yes.
about them. Those options are certainly making things more difficult for the students because the options, like the difference between the option is just one pair, and if you don't have information about that pair out of the 4, it becomes very difficult. But if the options are like statements 1 2 3 4 or more, and then combination of statements is given, then elimination can be applied. We have seen questions where when you don't know anything about a very factual thing that is asked, you can still apply some common sense and take a more reasonable guess about the correctness of some option. So the point is If you are excessively focusing on test series, your stress moves from PYQs to the test series, because you will not be able to solve those questions of test series, and you will be in that loop. All right, you will be always mugging things up. You will, and you will feel good actually, because you will know some things which your peers do not know. But the probability of asking that random factual information in the actual exam is close to nil, and you are expending your precious time in mugging up facts which are going to, on the first hand, create a lot of stress on your mind about remembering all of those facts, and secondly, their chance of appearing in the actual exam is very less. And why am I saying this? Because just see the kind of mindset that is required for the job you are dreaming of. Civil services, you tell me, does it require a mind that knows a lot of facts, a lot of information, or does it require a mind that has the ability to process information? Tell me, what kind of mind is required?
Processing information.
Processing information, right? Logically arriving at decisions. You are supposed to make decisions. Tomorrow, when you join the service, about facts, you will have hundreds of resources here. You'll have the best PhDs available with the government, the best research, national, international, everything, researchers, scientists, everything you will have access to get information. But the difference between you and those scientists is the ability to make decisions, right? So should
Yes.
you not stress on the logical thinking aspect? Should you not stress on this synergy, 1 or 11, 1 and 1 11, this kind of skill, rather than going in for mugging up exotic information, right? And
Yes, sir.
this is the reason why, yeah.
So basically, when we want to practice the elimination techniques, we have to pick up from 15 to 22 paper and then solve, apply that techniques or
Elimination
anything.
techniques from 2011 till 2022, right?
Okay.
I also have a product of elimination, a dedicated product. I'll be launching it soon. If you are interested, you may consider that also. Even
Yes,
if you are not interested in my particular product, you can still look at all the questions from 2011 onwards till 2022. Okay. And you see in what way can elimination be applied. Actually, elimination, the product category itself is it's a research based product category in itself, right? Because UPSC keeps shifting its track every year. In what way the questions are asked, in what way the options are given, what are the combinations of options, what is the sequence of questions given, a lot of things are there in elimination. Last year, the approaches that I taught in my elimination course perhaps will not apply this year. There are certain learnings which I had last year and from the 2022 paper, and this year I'm changing my approach accordingly. Right? So this is a research-based thing. It's a specialized thing, but it comes with practice. The more you see the questions, the more you will develop that eye. Okay, what question is relevant? What questions require knowledge? What question will have some form of link to the PYQs? What question is not about knowledge, is about logical thinking? Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you remember, there was this question in 2022 prelims, the tea producing states question, right? Tea producing states.
Yes.
Only one state, only two state, like that. The way in which that question was framed, it was very confusing. In fact, even I'm not sure about what the answer to that question is, but how do you solve those kind of questions? I have made a dedicated video about that question in the repeat question PDF PYQ series. It's available on YouTube, but I'll just reiterate it here. In one of the PYQs, there was this combination match the following kind of question was there, and one of the crops was tea, and the geographical conditions of growth required was there, right? So if you match the T with whatever was the answer given and get to the geographical condition, and you apply that geographical condition to the list of states, you arrive at a certain answer in that question. And perhaps that is the closest we can come to the right answer. Maybe it is even the right answer. We'll see when the key comes out. Right? You can never mug things up. Look at the way UPSC asked this question. 4 states were given. Which of these states are generally known as tea producing states? It is not asking which of these states is the largest producer of tea in India or in the world, right? If that were asked, it would become a knowledge based question, right? But it simply asks generally known as tea producing state. So you need to be aware of what your basic observation skills. You drink tea perhaps every day, right? Every Indian, maybe tea, coffee, we have, everyone generally. So whenever we hear of tea, what comes to our mind? Assam, Darjeeling, Himachal, right? Tripura, these kind of things. But there are so many states. How do we decide out of 4, only 1 state, only 2 state, only 3, only 4 state, and all the names are like known, heard? How do you decide?
And that too they have that too they have as generally, not the largest or the smallest, not the factual thing.
Absolutely. See, this is why I told that you need to understand UPSC's mind. You need to understand the nature of requirements of this job. The problem is there is this belief in this country that UPSC means extremely intelligent person and extremely, a godlike person will clear UPSC. So we have that kind of pride when we are preparing for UPSC, and actually expectation also when we are preparing for UPSC. We want to feel different from the others. And how do we feel different from the others? Not by common sense, because we feel that everybody has common sense. It's not like that actually, but still we will not want to think like any other person is able to think. We will want to know things which that person does not know. So we are deviating from what is the actual requirement of this exam. And if you understand that, your life becomes very simple. Firstly, you will become humble. You will understand that these are not things that are required for this job. Secondly, you will know what to focus on and what thing. What is extremely factual will not be asked. And for this, you need to refer PYQs. And this is important for both prelims and mains, right? I am 35 years old today. I have been in this UPSC journey since 2012. Okay, since my aspirant days, more than 10, 12, 13 years, right? So I have certain experience, certain exposure, which perhaps some of you will not have. And I'm telling you from that experience, it is not about exquisiteness. It is about inclusiveness. Jitna desi ho sakte ho, you have to be as desi as possible. You have to be close to the ground. Practicality. Uspe dekho. Whatever you feel is practical for you, you do that. Whatever you feel is not practical for you, is adding too much of tension, stress in your mind, just leave it here. Let the world say anything. It is this important, it is that important. Let the world say anything. Tomorrow you will have to take decisions when you join service. So you have to practice that attitude in you, right? Tomorrow when some decision is to be made, your assistants are going to tell you, sir, do this, do that. If you do this, people in their 50s, people in on the verge of their retirement will be telling you that this is not the way how things should be done. But you should have this confidence that you listen to everybody, you listen to all divergent opinions, including people opposing your ideas, your views, but still take a decision with a calm, cool head, not with ego or anything. That comes with practice. हर किसी का भेड़चाल में नहीं जाना है ना. If you listen to anyone, including me, यार, तुमको अगर मेरी बात समझ में आती है ना, तुम वो करो. If you don't understand what I am saying, just quit, just stop listening. Okay, you can quit the session also if you feel that I'm talking nonsense. But that is what my experience has been. The moment you follow the beaten path, what others are saying, this exam, that exam, most difficult exam in the world, this, that is all nonsense here. Hoga, most difficult hoga, it doesn't matter. But it is clearable. Every year 1000 people are clearing this exam, right? You can do. And how do you do that? By having this calmness, this composure, that I will do what I am capable of, what I can manage, what is practical for me. This by no means I'm saying that it's an easy exam. I'm just saying it's a simple exam. Okay, it is not a complicated exam. We complicate things by getting to exquisite, to exotic facts and this and that in our approach. Simple rakho, you will be fine. Did I answer your question, Sujit?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes. So you had asked for some particular test series. There is no test series that I would suggest. All test series. See, the thing you should go for is go for some branded institute. Okay, something that you can trust. That is more important, because branded institute will mean that the quality of the questions is good, the accuracy of the answers is there. Going for something too unknown can be risky, because if the quality of the questions is not good or if the answers are not accurate, that can destroy your confidence. Okay, so you should go for something branded. Go for anything. I'm not saying, you know, any particular institute. You can choose whatever institute you like, maybe even more than one institutes, but you should go for any test series only after going through the PYQs, right? You don't need to take any test series right now. That is why I have started that PYQ wala product na yaar. You search it, you use it left, right, center. You search the questions, you look at the ways in which questions are asked, and then maybe, you know, 2-3 months before prelims, if you have gone through the PYQs and if you feel that yes, now you understand in what way the questions are asked, you take the test series, because you need to be able to protect yourself from the unreasonable questions in the test series, and you will be able to do that only when you understand the PYQs. Okay.
UIQs will help us in sorting the irrelevant and irrelevant.
It's a shield. Okay, it's a shield that will protect you from the, you know, unreasonable questions of the PYQs, and it will also enable you to identify new fresh data points, information that may be asked. So देखो, ये जो private coaching वाला test series है, these people put in a lot of effort in making new questions, right? They will research left, right, center, and then they'll make a question. But the catch is whether that question is relevant or not. We need to decide. And how will we decide that? Through PYQs. So if you have that understanding of PYQs, and if you feel that that new question, that new information, data, fact is askable, then you integrate it in your preparation. Then you can be selective, right? What you want to put in your mind and what you want to reject. If you don't have command over PYQs, this selection ability will not be there. And then what you will do is just, you'll feel that let me just mug up, you know, 2 institutes test series, 100 tests, right? 100 questions and 100 tests, like whatever is 5,000 around questions. Kitna ho gaya? 100, 10,000 questions or what?
Yes, sir.
Right? So let me just mug up 10,000 questions. कुछ ना कुछ तो आएगा. You look at the effort you are putting in that, and look at the accuracy. Like you are just like a rocket of Hamas यार. Hamas का unguided rocket नहीं हो रहा है ना. It should be like a precision, एकदम accurate pinpoint laser accuracy वाला drone वाला bomb होना है ना? ऐसा नहीं कि वो जिस दिशा में जाए बस just go in that.
So one more thing. Sorry to interrupt. Sir, history is getting tougher day by day. Like even this year, even the modern history question, like I don't remember the question exactly, but 3 names were given, like Chitranjan Das or that some very factual name of were given. So remembering even after revision of the 4 or 5 times or any number of times, remembering that question in that 2 hours in under the pressure.
Yes, very difficult.
Removing the 2 options, only one was the correct option. I guess the third option was the correct. So basically, first we used to think that medieval and ancient or art and culture were hard to remember. Nowadays, they are asking modern history also in the similar fashion. So, any particular way to deal with such modern history or overall history questions?
Have you been seeing the cutoffs in the recent years?
Yes, sir.
Overall also
90%
cutoff, right? Maximum, how much it goes? Has it ever crossed 120 out of 200?
No, sir.
No, right? If we look at the most extreme utopian situation of 100% accuracy, 120 questions, 120 marks means 60 questions, right?
Yes.
A lot has to depend on your exam taking style also. How many questions do you do in the exam versus how much accuracy you have? I generally say that 75 to 80 questions with 80% accuracy is an excellent attempt. Okay, one of my students gave 4 prelims. Okay, was not clearing. Last year only in October he met me. I suggested him this. He was with me since October, and this year he cleared prelims. Okay, his 5th attempt cleared prelims. And he was telling me over phone that, you know, maybe this is the approach. I did not. He said that 30 questions he straight away rejected in the paper, that I will not be doing these 30 questions out of the 70 questions, or what 20 questions, I think, whatever 20 or 30 questions he rejected, and whatever was the remaining questions he did that, within which some questions went, of course, went wrong, but then the accuracy was pretty high. So you need to understand, you know, you don't really have to do all the questions. You need to understand what subjects you are good in, what kind of questions you are good in. Every subject will have every variety of questions, easy, medium, hard. Every subject will have that. Whenever you are attempting the paper, it must always be from easy to difficult. Okay, easy to difficult. First do all the easy questions of all the subjects. Fine, you don't need to move from sequentially from first question to last, or vice versa, or do, you know, all questions of one subject and then another subject. Not like that. Go from easy to hard. Now, why are you making your life difficult by going in some sequence? That is the trap of UPSC. It is disturbing. It will play with your mind with that, because if you look at all the history questions, certainly some questions will be very hard. Certainly some questions are there which you must leave. And how do you know that? And don't you think that, you know, taking a calculated guess in it is like 100 bombs. Okay, it's a minefield with 100 mines. Every question is a mine. So how do you maneuver yourself so that you do not get blown away? You need to be able to decide which questions you want to leave. That also shows maturity of mind. That shows, you know, that you can think rationally under pressure. There will be certain kind of questions, big list will be there. On the face of it, either it will seem very inviting, all of the above options, all of the above are correct, like students will mark that, or none of the above, something like that. Whatever is the answer, it will seem very inviting, but it will have some trap which under pressure students are not able to see, because they'll be so happy on seeing that question, they will be too quick in reading it, and some small word or some, you know, nuance they will miss, and that question goes wrong. And the other way is again a question which on the face of it seems extremely difficult. That lemongrass question is coming to my mind right now of 2021 prelims. Do you recall that? Lemongrass question wala tha na kya, mosquito repellent, natural mosquito repellent question.
Yes, lemongrass.
हाँ, है ना? On the face of it, people could not decide यार चारों में से क्या आंसर होगा. Similarly, filter feeder वाला question, people could not decide उसमें से क्या आंसर होगा. But you just with a cool mind, if you think about it once, you will be having that headway कि यार इसमें most likely answer क्या हो सकता है. And this comes only with practice, my friend. And these kind of questions are not new. These have been asked since 1979. Just such random questions. धक्का मारने वाले questions होते हैं, ये झटका देने वाले, they are called झटका questions. ओके वो अलियार ईसापुर वाला एक क्वेश्चन था, आई थिंक 2019 का था या किसका था. 3 or 4 names were given, and what are these related to underground cave systems, or some 2-3 options were there.
वाटर रिजर्वायर,
वाटर, हाँ, है ना, इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस आते रहते हैं. हाउ डू यू चूज कि यार इसमें क्या आंसर होगा? दिस इज कॉमन सेंस वाला क्वेश्चन ना. अब हम क्या करेंगे, हम मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस को ना सोचते नहीं है. वी विल नॉट थिंक अबाउट दीज क्वेश्चंस because the names are too unfamiliar for us, and we are always fearful that we will go wrong in these questions. We will not attempt these questions. and we will try to attempt questions of modern history jahan out of 4, 5, 6 whatever names are given, even if one name is there which we have heard of, we will try to do that question, right? So this comes with practice, and this is where I told you PYQs, you know, it's an infinite lesson like potential. It is the mind of UPSC. This is the reason why private coaching institute test series can never match the learnings PYQs can give you. So go through the same set of questions again and again. You read one topic, you do all the PYQs. You read that topic again, maybe after a few days, you come back to the questions, you will be able to see some new nuance, some new connection between the questions. Okay. And once you're able to solve the question, you look at the options. You see what all things were asked in what kind of question. When the question was one statement question, what was asked and in what way were the options framed, compared to when the question is a two statement question, whether it was an assertion reason question, whether it was both statement correct, neither statement correct, one only, two only kind of question, or whether it was a multi-statement question. In what way the information has been asked and what is the combination of statements that was given, and you apply that template to every other thing then that you study. And this is the reason why it is said you study one book 50 times or one book 10 times, whatever, multiple readings of the same book. How do you do? Because you need freshness every time, right? We go after reading multiple sources for the same topic. Why do we read multiple sources? Because of the freshness of that source, right? It doesn't bore us as much as we would be getting bored if we are reading the same thing. But we would not get bored if we are reading the same thing when you have the reference of PYQs, when you know that, okay, these are the varieties, these are the ways in which PYQs have been asked. So on Akbar, certain things have been asked. So let me do the same things for Ashoka also, for Harshvardhan also, right? So that freshness you have to maintain. And then only limited set of books, multiple times you will be able to go through. PYQs must always be handy. That is why I have made that product. यार इतना मेहनत उसमें लगा है उसको एक मोबाइल फॉर्म के फोन के फॉर्म में लाने के लिए, so that it has the right size of text, so that it is searchable, so that it is quickly scrollable. That power is in your hands now. You must use it. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What other question?
Sir, I wanted to ask another question.
Sir, am I audible?
Vedant, let's first allow Samina to finish. Yeah, Samina. Yeah, Samina.
Yes, sir. What we can do in factual questions, because prior we used to do elimination technique, the factual like histories and all. But due to this pattern, only 2 pairs, only 3 pairs, it is very complicated to eliminate those things.
Yes.
There's some part we don't know. We haven't heard in history.
देखो, elimination technique,
So
if
we
you
have to remember that only.
so what I understand from your voice actually got broken. What I understand from your question is that earlier you could more accurately apply elimination, but now the nature of the question is changing, so the earlier approach of elimination is not working and you are required to remember the facts now. Are you saying that? And it is hard to remember the facts, so how do you deal with that situation, right? Is it that? Yeah. Okay. See, I told you, you have to play this exam as per your strengths. Every student, every one of you have got your own strengths and weaknesses. You know how good you are in history, how well you can remember those facts or not, and in what way you can remember those facts. You have to make things easy for yourself. So the first thing that is required, as I've told you, same set of books you have to go through multiple times. Okay. If you want to understand history in its broadest sense, you can look for these YouTube series also. Bharat Ek Khoj is a YouTube series. I think as of now it is available only in Hindi, but Bharat Ek Khoj, if you watch, It is based on the book The Discovery of India that was written by Jawaharlal Nehru. So it will give you what was there in Indus Valley times, and then Ashoka and Buddhism, Jainism, etc. All the major aspects, chunks of Indian history are portrayed in that, right? So you can get a bird's eye view of your entire history timeline. So that is one important way in which you will know, okay, if the question is talking about Tughlaq, तो वो तुगलक किस जमाने में, किस दौर में था, and what was the comparative things happening at that time, right? So that is one way which will keep you interested also, and you can utilize your free time better in that way. Once you understand things visually, it will be more appealing for you to do the text thing, your NCRTs, your books. Okay, whenever anything is given in your culture book, you look at its image, some temple, some stupa, some river, some battle. You look at the map. Okay, you look at that particular monument, you make it visual. Our minds are visual. We are not good at textual things, numerical things. Human beings have evolved as visual beings. Okay, तो उसको चीजों को visual कर दो. When you make your notes, make your timelines like that, use colors, use important milestones that have happened, minimize the facts that you need to mug up. But of course, this can only be done to an extent. There are certain facts which have to be mugged up, right? So you break them into smaller parts. Maybe every day you look at if it is the list of governor generals of India, for example. Okay, you want to remember that entire list. So every day, maybe just 1 or 2 governor generals. Okay, you look at what they have done. You maybe watch a video on YouTube just to see what all important contributions they have made. So you have to keep on finding ways which work for you. If books get too boring for you, usko mat karo na us tarike se. You change the approach. At the same time, stress on your strengths. If you know that history is not something that you enjoy, history is not your strong point, so you cannot make your weakness your strength in the exam. Okay, exam is cleared through your strengths. Weakness can only be strengthened up to a minimum level. Focus on raising your proficiency in your weak subjects up to a minimum required level. Beyond that, go more for subjects where you know that you will do well. Okay, so I told you 3 important criteria for clearing prelims. Studies, you have PYQs, and you have elimination, right? So you do well in studies in your strong areas, you focus more on PYQs and elimination, right? Just don't waste time in doing things which you don't enjoy, which become a burden on you, and you are frustrated, you are miserable, making your life miserable because of these things. There is no single way to clear prelims. Every way is equally efficient. You just need to have that courage to explore what you like and follow that path. Okay, you can clear prelims in infinite number of ways. Koi fixed hai nahi. It is just that do what works for you. Vedant, you were asking something before we stop. This session was intended for 1 hour. We are closing that limit.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Sir, actually, how do we approach in improving the accuracy? And what should be the methodology of solving the paper in those 2 hours when we are in the exam hall? Because actually, sir, I have given the 2022 attempt, but what happened is that I didn't find the time to be adequate for my approach, and I spent too much time in getting the questions right. So I didn't have a lot of time at the end. So what should be the approach for accuracy and time management?
Firstly, I don't think you have practiced all the UPSC papers from 2011 onwards in actual exam conditions by taking the printout of the exact UPSC paper, the PDF downloaded from UPSC website. Take a printout of that, and in exam conditions, uncomfortable conditions, taken those tests as mock. Have you?
Actually, yeah, I am guilty of that. I didn't do that.
नहीं किया ना, देखो
yeah.
यही है, यही कमी है. And how many mocks did you give?
Sir, actually, I gave a lot of mocks since the beginning, from January, I guess. And I also solved a few PYQs the way you told by taking printout, but they were from 2017 onwards.
अब देखो
And,
गड़बड़ किया ना.
In CSAT
गड़बड़ कहाँ
also,
हुई?
I thought there was a lack of time for me. I didn't find it
So,
difficult actually, but there was a
lack of time that
to think.
To think, you know. So see how the problem is, you know that it was not a difficult exam, right? Difficult in the sense complicated nahi hai, simple exam hai, easy nahi hai, but simple exam hai, right? If you have the ability to think straight, to handle pressure, you would have done well in both the papers, yes or no?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Absolutely. So what is the reason behind your not doing well in the exam? Your inability to handle that pressure. Your mind got choked, right? Your thinking got blocked. You were too fixated on each question. You were worried that what you are doing, you perhaps were under so much stress that you could not trust what you are doing is right. Perhaps you are coming back to the question, solving questions multiple times just to ensure that you are arriving at the right answer. Did this happen?
Yes, sir. Actually, what happened is that during the first hour, I solved about 40 questions, and I think I got all of them right, absolutely right. Because when I compared them
Is
after
this
doing
GS1?
yes, sir.
Is this GS1?
Yes, sir. I'm talking about GS1. So during the first hour, I solved about 40 questions, and all of them were probably right. And when I tallied them, most of them were right, about 98%. And after that, in the second hour, when I realized that 1 hour has elapsed and I only have I have now 60 questions to solve and about 60 minutes. So during that time pressure, I think I messed up a lot, and it all went downhill after the first hour.
So again, as I told you, you committed that classic mistake of trying to attempt too many questions. Who said that you have to attempt all 100 questions? You need to be able to do the paper based on your strengths. This is what I told, right? And what is your strength? Do you feel that you are equally capable in all of the 100 questions, that you would do them correctly? Do you feel that? No.
So
No,
actually,
right?
there is one more thing I wanted to point out, which I observed personally, because I gave 21 attempt also and 22 also. Sir, I think UPSC always tries to play with us by like there are some surprise areas like agriculture, or in 21 it was sports, and in 22 it was like only one option or only two option, and a lot of international affairs, kind of world map questions. So how to deal with the questions like these? Do we leave them, or what should be the approach?
See, I think you have not yet watched my repeat questions analysis series on YouTube, have you?
Sir, actually, I haven't diligently. I have watched few videos, but not all of them.
Okay. The first thing I would request you to do is you watch all of those videos. Okay. I'm not solving those questions from elimination angle, but some of the questions I am, yes, solving in them. Maybe 2 or 3 questions I've solved till now through elimination in those questions. But the stress of the video series is to show that PYQs are directly or indirectly helping us in solving questions, right? And how many years of PYQs have you studied so far?
Actually, I solved from 95, but yeah, you know that very popular book that comes in the market about PYQs.
What
You
is
must be
the
knowing it.
publisher or the author?
Sir, it is I think Brunal sir's book.
Disha publication.
Yes, sir, Disha publication. And there is a last section in it where miscellaneous or international related questions are there. Actually, I loved that section completely because I thought that now it is too vague and outdated information to be relevant for today. But I think questions like that, the BD question, I guess, it was also from PYQ.
BD question was from PYQs, but it could be solved through elimination also. In my elimination techniques, how to deal with those questions. There are certain keywords, the way in which that information has been asked. See, PYQs are there to support you, to assist you in solving questions. They will not always be directly solving questions for you, right? You need to think on a wide scale, on with an open mind about things, right? BD kind of questions, they are that kind of questions which can be done through logic also, if you have that kind of pressure handling capacity in the exam. But of course, if you have gone through the PYQs, you know that BD is in Kenya or Ethiopia, whatever was the combination given there, so you can directly eliminate the answer. But I think even then, even if you would have gone through PYQs, you would not have arrived at the answer in that question. Still, logic was required in choosing the correct option, if I'm not wrong, right? I don't remember that question and the statement combinations exactly right now, but that BD question is there in my repeat questions analysis video on YouTube. You watch that, you will understand. Okay, so the point is, PYQs of course have to be done, but what is more important is this faith in yourself, that whatever you understand, whatever comes naturally to you, whatever is logically doable for you, you do that. When you look at a news, you just see what kind of things you, as a normal educated Indian, would want to know about that particular news item. Just today I shared that religious tourism, that screenshot also in the channel, this discussion channel which I started. So if it is about religious tourism in J&K, right, or in any other state, there was so much news about this Varanasi Buddhism circuit, this, that, right? These things are regularly in Vishwanath, Kashi Vishwanath, these all things are regularly in news, right? So religious tourism is a theme which is common to all of these. So when you have this theme of religious tourism, as a normal educated Indian, what are the things that will come to your mind? Those things, just make a list of, okay, what things will I want to know about these, and then you look up the keywords which I suggested in the group. You just find those keywords and you see what all combinations. Bhai agar ye J&K ka hai, wahan pe what all are the important shrines? Okay, from Hinduism angle, the important shrines mentioned were Vaishno Devi and Amarnath. Then you take out the map of J&K and you point these things. Where is Vaishno Devi? Where is Amarnath? Right? Then what other things will come to your mind? Okay, what are the rivers that are close to these locations? What are the hills or peaks that are close to these locations? Perhaps glaciers, right? What is special about them? What is the significance of these sites? Does it have some historical relevance? Some king, some dynasty, some did something here, right? These are the things that will come to your mind. What are the important cities which are close to these locations? When you go through the PYQs, these things are what is asked, and then just make a note of these things and you'll be ready. The more you, the basic point is, you have to think through an open mind. First, identify the information that you want to know in any given topic, and then your mind will be open about accepting that information. If you are going material first, that is, you just trust some material blindly, including me, okay, I'm not saying you trust me also. If you trust any material blindly, okay, some XYZ institute's magazine I'll do, okay, or some XYZ newspaper, only whatever information is given in that newspaper I will mug up. If you are going information source first, then there will be infinite things that you will feel that these are important and can be asked, and you will load yourself with so much extra information that is not needed. Now you decide what things are you interested in knowing about that particular topic, and then only pick the answer to those things. Then go to the PYQs just to be secure, just to be safe that you are thinking on the right lines. And if there is something new, some new angle you find in the PYQs, then great, you introduce that new angle in your notes, right? So you have to take responsibility. Go with yourself first. What you want to know about something, you choose that, you pick that, and this way retention will be much greater. Okay, वो टॉप डाउन अप्रोच नहीं होगा, बॉटम अप अप्रोच लेके जाना पड़ेगा. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Did I answer your question, Vedant?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, I think, is there anything else anyone wants to discuss? Perhaps no issues. So I'll put the recording, the video of this video, or sorry, the video of this session in the channels, right? And every Sunday at 3 p.m. we will have such mentorship sessions for the students who have purchased the PYQ product, right? So it's not important that everything has to be discussed in one session only. Of course, next time, whatever, you might have some new questions, some new ideas, whatever, we can always discuss them in the subsequent session. These sessions will generally be of 1 hour, right? So thank you for joining me today, and we will meet next time, right? And before we go, I'll just pause the recording just 1 second.